All right, folks, thanks to Jimmy Joe Savage. We are live to tape here at Legacy Studios in East Liverpool, Ohio. It's all about blue and white, as in the Holiday Hoops Classic coming up 2017. And then we are going to break down the Potters for this season under the direction of former Potter and Geneva College Golden Tornado. He is none other than Nate Connolly. And speaking of Geneva, just so you all are aware, I'm plugged in. I know James Harrison. His manager, of course, good friend Bill Parise, many years the head of the Beaver County YMCA. Word today going viral. He is headed to New England. Let the man play football. Let the man earn a living. Think about it, mull it over, put your head on the pillow, and relax tonight. And tomorrow, the head coach of Geneva College and I will be at the Brighton Hot Dog Shop, Dino DeMarco and Beaver, talking all about number 92. Whether or not he keeps that number, we'll find out. But of course, James Harrison, the big story, now a member of the New England Patriots. And before we talk anything about the Potters, this is Rob Kelly, PNC Bank mortgage lender extraordinaire. You need cash, you need a home, you need roof over your head. He's the guy. And of course, his dad, my beloved killer, because of the hair like Jerry Lee Lewis. He is Bob Kelly, who carried me for many years along with Bill Montgomery, Jerry Stovall, and Craig Burbick doing Potter Sports. And of course, just always happy to see them, my familia, during the holiday season. What about James Harrison? Go ahead. You first.
James Harrison was a great Steeler, all-time leader in sacks. It's sad to see him go because I think he was a locker room leader as well.
Killer?
I don't quite understand why they didn't play him more this year, but there must have been a reason for that. But when you think about it, T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree on the outside, probably tough for him to beat those two at this age.
These guys, man, they are just great. They know their game. Okay, let's move on now and talk about the game that we all love and have watched for many years. We're going to talk about this Holiday Classic, but before we get to the Classic itself, let's just kind of run through some of these players a little bit. I'm going to throw some names out and you tell me what you think. Brennan O'Hara, go ahead.
Sophomore guard. The Potters run a 1-3-1 zone press on defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the point, and he is unbelievable. He's very long, athletic, smart, very smart kid. Averages about 11 a game as well. Averages 4.5 steals a game, and he's the key to this press. They dominated Beaver Local with this press the other day. They could have probably won the game by 50 points, to be very honest. And he's a super kid.
By the way, East Liverpool has scored 96 or more points in their past 3 games, and he's talking about that Beaver Local win of 96-69. That was on December 16th. They're 4-1. They've won 4 in a row. And next time we're going to really focus on the Potters and who they are. But just getting ready for this Classic, you're going to be seeing a lot of these players. So let's move on now to Gabe Roach. Go ahead, Killer.
The athletic, personified. He's the most athletic kid they have. He can do it all. Jump out of the gym. Not the greatest shot in the world, but when he takes the ball to the hoop, he's practically unstoppable. He also is key to the defense. I want to say, too, about Brennan O'Hara, real quick. I talked to his mom and dad. He would much rather play defense than shoot the ball. That's the kind of kid he is, and he can play some defense. He's very good. He leads that press, and sometimes he's stealing the ball all by himself, so he's very good.
Yeah, Gabe Roach, 33 points, 8 assists in that win against Beaver Local. Trey Jackson finished with 28 points, 6 of 10 from beyond the three-point line. Isaiah Browning had a strong performance, 17.7 rebounds. What about him?
Isaiah, just one word that comes to mind is hustle. He's a hustler. He rebounds. He's gritty. He's has some very nice moves developed over the last year around the bucket, and he's also a great key to their press and their big man, so to speak.
Yeah, he's really come on, to be honest with you. Last year, of course, he played a lot of reserve ball, and I was told he did a lot of work over the summer, working on his shot and things like that, and he's really come on. He's a great contributor right now.
Tell you what, they're going so good. We're not only going to do this, we're going to wrap everything up in a nice postseason Christmas present for the Holiday Classic, and then we'll come back and do something on the Steelers, because I know how much you love the Steelers, and you're wearing the gear, and being that Mrs. Rooney showed up at my broadcast the other day, it's all good on the north side and all good here in the east part of Ohio, known as Eastern Ohio. So, all right, let's get back to this basketball team. Some of the other players who have been key for this team off the bench. Talk about it.
Well, we haven't mentioned Trayshawn Jackson. He's their point guard, handles the ball a lot. He's also a sophomore. The Potters start a senior, a junior, and 3 sophomores, so they're a very young team. Off the bench, we have Dad, help me out here.
Well, the first one that comes off the bench, it just depends on who goes down, but they replaced the Torma kid with, his name's going to, I'll be with you.
You got Travis Kidder, Jalen. Moman, Nick Woodyard.
Nick Woodyard.
Okay.
He's come in several times and contributed big time. The Indian Creek game in particular, he replaced Browning at the end of the press. He's the back man, and he was fantastic. He stole the ball 2 or 3 times in that game at key times, and he's only a sophomore.
Who's this Joaquin Johnson kid?
He comes in off the bench. A big kid, strong kid, good rebounder. He doesn't play a whole lot, but when he does get in there, he's on. I want to tell you something about this team. They hustle, and they're a great group of kids, from what Nick Conley says.
Here's what you said to me earlier when we were talking on the phone. And again, thanks to Jimmy Joe Savage for pulling this thing off tonight, because we've just been scrambling all day trying to put it together. And for these guys really come in at the last second to do this thing justice, because I've been so busy of late doing all sorts of stuff. And I love East Liverpool, and I love this classic that's been around since 1995. And by the way, they won the very first one. They defeated Newcastle 81-64, if you want to do a little throwback there for you. But here's what amazes me, and you said this earlier, because I love Potter basketball. In the last couple of years, they've been taking it on the chin. You said something to me that stood out and said this is one of the more fun teams you've seen the Potters have in recent years, right?
No question about it. One thing about this team is they do a full court press, like a 1-2-2, 2-2-1, and then they do a half court press, and they press the entire game. They are fast, agile. They're great at shooting the passing lanes, and they're just a lot of fun. There's a lot of easy buckets they get. They give up a few as well, but as you can see, they're averaging 80 a game. I think their opponents are averaging 56 a game on the year. So the defense in Nate Conley's tenure at East Liverpool, this is probably his best defensive team that I can remember. I'm sure you probably agree with that.
Let's go back 1 second to that first Potter Classic game.
Yeah.
Newcastle went against East Liverpool, and Newcastle was rated #1 in Pennsylvania at that time, and they came in, and Liverpool kind of really handed it to him, and the coach from Newcastle said, "I will never come back here again." And
Did he ever?
And he never did.
No. No. Some other memorable games. 07, Wellsville over East Liverpool, 39-33. 1998, Columbus West over East Liverpool, 69-66. 1999, Toledo Libby, 69-66 over East Liverpool. 2000, East Liverpool over Cleveland Heights, 78-60. Any other games come to mind?
Well, I will tell you one thing. Youngstown Ursuline in recent history, I'm going to say it was in early 2000s, they came here with a team that was very good for 3 years in a row, and won the tournament at least 2 out of those 3 years. And they were very good, a very, very good basketball team. And the coach is a great guy, just a Superman. So, they dominated for a while. But now they haven't been back since they won the last time, I don't think.
All right, now let's talk about this year's tournament. And we're going to begin with one of the teams that are going to be there, talking about East Palestine. Brandon Kemp, 6'4", Clayton Murray, 6'6", Jeremy Reynolds, 6 foot, and junior Dominic Posey, 6'3". They haven't had a winning season in 6 years. Coach L.J. Sutton is the guy on the bench, added size, depth to the bench, and also they are a very fast-paced, physical basketball team, and they want to try to score points in transition in half courts. So that's all from Vince Pellegrini from WKBN. I was checking that out earlier today on Google. So what do you think?
I haven't seen East Palestine play, but I talked to Coach Conley tonight, and he said he witnessed them play in the Wellsville game, which that was their last game. I think they lost by 19. He was very surprised, as was I, because East Palestine, they have speed and they have size as well. And so they must have just had an off night. I know he's very concerned about this team, and so we'll see what happens. Murray and Posey are the leaders, and Kemp, and so we don't have anybody 6'6" to go up against them. And however, I will say this: our half court press we put on with Brendan O'Hara at the top of that press, it will be some problems for that team.
Well, I'm impressed. Just hitting it out of the park tonight. Okay, let's move on. Rocky River coach Michael Murray. Pirates are 0-6 overall and 0-3 in the Great Lakes Conference Division II. Players to watch: some seniors, Owen Corrigan, Oliver Kinnigan, also he's 6'4", by the way, power forward. Stefan Newman, guard, 6 foot, and Griffin Jurgensen, 6'1". Rocky River.
You know what they're famous for? Dr. Sam Shepard. You remember Dr.
Yeah.
Sam Shepard?
The fugitive.
Yeah, the fugitive. You have to be a little leery, though, of 0-6, because you don't know what kind of competition they're playing against. That Cleveland area has some great high school basketball teams, at least historically they have. So we have to be a little wary of them, because 0-6 doesn't mean much. We don't know who they've played.
All right, Akron, Manchester lost to Canal Fulton Northwest December 22nd, 72-64. Coach Gene Schindelwolf is the guy on the bench, 4-5 overall, 1-2 in the Principals Conference Division III. Coy Schuler, a senior, JoJo France, senior guard, Ethan Wright, a sophomore guard. So thoughts about them, and then we'll kind of wrap it up and move on to the Steelers coming up. Go ahead.
Actually, East Liverpool scrimmaged Akron, Manchester earlier in the year, and this came from Coach Conley that they handled us pretty easily. So I know he's a little leery of them, and they have some great athletes from what he said. And we might not have played our best, I'm going to guess, at that point in time. But the Potters are coming together. I'm playing great team basketball, especially on the defensive side, which is resulting in offense for them. And so hopefully it'll be a different story when we play, if we get to play them, because we're playing East Palestine first.
Check out their Facebook page, EL Hoops. Anything else about the Potters getting ready for the holiday?
Well, Akron, Manchester, there's somebody you really don't know about who they've played. Akron's had some fantastic high school basketball teams over the years, so we'll have to wait and see. You just don't know until they get here.
Tickets are only $6 for each day, and the Field House is the best venue I have ever seen. And folks, I've logged a few miles in this business. So one thing is for sure, 1995 seems a long time ago, but when you think of the history and the rich history in such a short time, when a lot of classics have been around a lot longer, and at one time they dominated the landscape, they've done a pretty good job with this, haven't they?
I have a great story about Potter Fieldhouse. It's fantastic. A few years back, Mel Blunt's son went to Wheeling Lindsley Academy, and they came in and played in the tournament. And of course, he walked in early because they played the first game. There wasn't a lot of people there. And the first thing about Mel Blunt is you're just amazed how big he is at playing the defensive back years ago. Anyway, he walked in, and I couldn't help it. I walked up and said, "Well, Mel Blunt, welcome to East Liverpool." And he said, "What in the heck is this?" I said, "Pardon me?" And he said, "There's college gyms that aren't this nice. Where did this come from?"
True.
So I explained to him, when they built the gym and everything, they went the extra mile, put the padded seats in, individual seats in. He was absolutely amazed. He just loved it.
Next time, you think you can bring me some Bosco's pizza or something? I drove all this way. Cass's closed the day after Christmas. I'm starving. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks to Jimmy Joe Savage. Back one more. Guys were so nice to do this for me tonight. We're going to talk about something that they have a lot of passion for. They're in attendance from time to time at Heinz Field. They love the Steelers, who are getting ready to take on the Browns. Don't tell anybody. Okay, this Sunday. We'll be back.